if rap is the export of the culture, then what are they seeing? That's what they see, sexualization, right? The men put the women in the videos, they on some pimp shit, they on some hoe shit, right? They on some nigga, they on some bitches, right? And then, you know, they are dressed with nothing on, right? That's the sexiness. It ain't about beauty, it's about sexy, right? So we export that, and everybody in the culture that look up to that see that level, they want to be that same thing, so they emulate that, right? It's the same thing what we do when we export the ideas of what it means to be gangster, right? Yeah. Oh, I like that. They listen to the music, you understand me? And so when you go out there, brother, he may call you a nigga. You go to Africa, what up, my nigga, right? He don't mean nothing of it, but we exported that out there, so that's what they emulate. That's the language that we send to them, so they think that that's the terms and the language of endearment, right? And so the beauty of it now, though, is like we now export in a different part of the culture. Yeah. Right? Like when you got a club that got 3,000 black people and people of different colors waiting in the cold outside that flew in from all over, you understand me? So that they can try to get some of this education, some knowledge in their head. That's a different movement. Welcome to the Man to Man podcast, where we talk like God. Man to Man. Yo, for those who don't know, let me introduce myself. I go by 19 Keys, and that represents the way that I enlighten people with the truth, speak truth to power, and go about redesigning the world so we have control and it's ours. You understand me? And that's it right there.
So, first thing I want to talk about and get into, first I want to congratulate you, man, for the Breakfast Club.
Felt right. You understand me? I think that when you plan something and you got it in your vision, and you somebody like myself, it's just a matter of time. Some births just take longer than others. You understand me? So I was pregnant with that idea for a long time. I had it written down in my notes, and as I've seen certain people go up there and have certain conversations with the Breakfast Club, I admired their platform for their willingness to showcase a different side of the diaspora rather than entertainment. You understand me? Like, they put certain voices up there like Umar Johnson and Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Dr. Wesley, Nuri Muhammad, Minister Abdul, a bunch of different voices, entrepreneurs, tech, different industries, and I think that was a very cultural forward thing for them to do. You understand me? Because that's what we need. Of course, you always go get the raunchiness, you go get the ignorance, you go get the gossip, you go get the entertainment, but at the same time, unfortunately, that's the culture, right? But at the same time, now it's about making a new culture. Like, that's my whole thing, like making a new culture. I know we always talk about protecting the culture and stuff, but there's not even one that we own, and it's not one that's backed by any real righteousness. You understand me? Principles or integrity. So the goal now is about a new culture, and I represent a new culture.
Do you feel like the world got a chance to know who the 19 Keys is?
No, I think they just got a chance to see the way my mind work a bit. You understand me? High level intelligence, intellect, a person that has, you know, just, if I'm going to toot my own horn, you know, I'm a masterful speaker at this stage in my life. I'm working on, you know, becoming even a better speaker in a way that I fluctuate my tonality and things of that nature. But when it comes to being able to voice my concepts and thoughts and ideas, that's what I work on. You understand me? And so just them seeing black men have high-level conversations, I think, was just an inspirational thing that we all needed. Plus, it was very informational. So they only got to see an aspect because I didn't even talk about myself not one bit in that particular interview. So they seen a black man's mind, but they didn't get to know 19 Keys. If the interview was longer and if I was up there by myself, I would have just had more of a platform to construct the type of concept, thoughts, and ideas that I believe that the culture needs in the algorithm. You understand me? Whether when it comes to the way we do business, our egos, our family, technology, the future, our vision, right? There's so many different things that need to be recorrected, and there's not enough voices that's willing to get on platforms and speak that kind of truth. So there was a lot of truth I did want to say while I had the platform, but at the same time I understood that, you know, every day ain't the right day.
A couple weeks before that, kicked it in Paris and London, y'all.
Yeah, that was a great time.
We did the event, and I seen like all the people that came. My man, I want you to explain like the amount of, you know what I'm saying, love and, you know what I'm saying, energy that you got when you went out there?
Now, it was, you know, the first time I went out to London was 2019. And I had the esteemed trip with my brother Blue Pill, Red Pill, introduced me to this sister named Queen Diambia. She was the queen of the Congo, inherited the throne through her father, right? And I crowned her when I was out there, and they took us to Parliament. So we went to Parliament, and you know she was there on a peace treaty trip. We was there, you know, to be the big stick. You understand about to come in there with the war tone. So you know we had the great ability to go to Parliament, speak, and that was beautiful. And then I spoke at a school when I was out there the first time as well, crowned the students and everything. It was major love. Um, you know, I threw my own event. You know, the people packed the room. It was dope. First time coming out there. You know, we gave like 24-hour notice. People still came, showed up. So this time I knew it was gonna be a crazy venue. You understand me? Like I believe that, you know, the venue that we had, I could have packed that by myself, plus had a line around the corner as well. You understand me? That's just where my brand has arisen, and the people are thirsty for the knowledge, information, and they're very grateful, and I'm grateful to them. So this time, you know, we had it at Tape London, which they told us it wasn't the best club to have it at because, you know, it's a history with that particular spot, colorism, things of that nature. But at the same time, we used that spot. It was a beautiful venue on the inside, but it was nowhere near the size that we needed, right? We talking about thousands of people outside, but you know, it was cold outside, and given that these people flew from different countries, came from different cities, I went out there, I had to shake the hands of the people, meet the group. I had to at least shake 1,000 hands. You understand me? I tried to meet as many people as possible. I stood out there and gave a 30-minute speech. You understand me? Just so that the people that came there didn't waste their time and weren't just stuck outside. But at the same time, it became a legendary story and moment, you know, in the history of London. Right, and we definitely going back. And next time we go back, we're gonna make sure there's more room for the people and get an education, tailor the education, and unleash the minds that's out there. You know, because I'm gonna speak what I speak. You know, and you know when I talk, sometimes it might be dangerous for whoever I'm with on the stage. So, you know, I try to tailor my speech, but then sometimes that truth just, you feel me, it just be hitting. So I was on the stage just knocking them with them truth bombs. You feel me, just slapping them in the face a little bit, but the people was loving it. That's the difference when Big Keys speak. You know, the people love it because I'm gonna give them master keys. And at the end of the day, they got such a society where people don't really speak truth out there like that. You understand me? You know, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he banned out there, right? The Jews out there got him banned from the country. That's the official story, right? And then they said that he can come back, and he had made a promise that he wasn't go rile up, do no race rhetoric or none of those things of that nature, that he was going to speak to the people about dignity and getting their discipline, their mind and focus right. They unlifted the ban, then rebanded them. You understand me? And so the people that haven't had the type of leadership that we've had and that type of knowledge that we've had, so they thirsty for that. And one thing that we see in the diaspora today is that not just the entertainment being the most influential anymore. Now the financial leadership, the financial liberation is now being the most influential, that's growing at a fast pace. I'm seeing people change their whole business model, podcasts, things that they was doing to start jumping on towards giving people something of more value. What we represent is young godliness, not just young leadership, because it ain't about us leading the people per se. It's about us teaching the people how to lead themselves. Because once we get the idea in the minds of the people and the idea become viral enough, then the people won't need us physically there. You understand me? It can work autonomous, and that means that no matter who they try to take out, who's not trending now, who disappears, once the idea is there, the seed is sown, the game is over, because then it's just inevitable.
See, what I took from London, right, I spent a lot of time sitting back out observing.
Yeah.
And what I noticed, bro, is like America real life market destruction, bro, for our people, bro. Like, not even just black people, just the whole America, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you an example, bro. Like, over there, it ain't crime written like it is in America, bro. Like, police don't even carry guns over there.
But they do definitely got crime. We just ain't go. We ain't go to Brixton. We went to Camden, but we ain't go to the layers. You know, everybody ain't got guns.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
know, so like if you got an issue with somebody, You would have to learn some conflict resolution and throw them hands. That's different. Like, imagine if brothers ain't have guns, who would really be gangster in America? Like everybody that's killers out here now, you know, and get the fear that they get from what they able to do with the tools that they have, you know, which is the resources they got from, you know, from the white man to kill each other. What would they be if they had to solve their problems with hands? You know, like on some man to man.
Yo, but what I was getting to though, just by saying like, you know what I'm saying, the women over there, you know what I'm saying, dressing elegantly, you know what I'm saying, looking like royalty, whatnot, in London and Paris, it shows me like, it shows me like how much America promote over sexualism. I even had talks with a couple of guys over there, and they kept, even like riding in the Uber, guys was telling me like, oh, you from America? Oh, man, I want to go over there, bro. The women over there in Atlanta and Miami, they be saying like how the women are naked over there, you know what I'm saying, with the bodies done and all that. They was attracted to that because that's what they see in the media.
Yeah.
So it just shows me like how people do their branding, man. Like American branding is different from global branding.
Yeah, I mean, think about it like, so culture is an export. You understand me? Like that's the one thing that we export. Like hip hop is part of that export of our culture. That's our gross domestic product that we export.
Yeah.
So when we export that, we send it out to London, Nigeria, Ghana, any places that listen, get influenced by our media. You understand me? And look at what we showcase. So if rap is the export of the culture, then what are they seeing? That's what they see, sexualization, right? The men put the women in the videos, they on some pimp shit, they on some hoe shit, right? They on some nigga, they on some bitches, right? And then, you know, they are dressed with nothing on, right? That's the sexiness. It ain't about beauty, it's about sexy, right? So we export that, and everybody in the culture that look up to that see that level, they want to be that same thing, so they emulate that, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, the hoods of America, you know, drill music, gangster shit is the same thing what we do when we export the ideas of what it means to be gangster, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. They listen to the music, you understand me? And so when you go out there, brother, he may call you a nigga. You go to Africa, what up, my nigga, right? He don't mean nothing of it, but we exported that out there, so that's what they emulate. That's the language that we send to them, so they think that that's the terms and the language of endearment, right? And so the beauty of it now, though, is like we now export in a different part of the culture.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you got a club that got 3,000 black people and people of different colors waiting in the cold outside that flew in from all over, you understand me? So that they can try to get some of this education, some knowledge in their head. That's a different movement. That's what you seen in the 70s and the 60s when they was pulling up to the Malcolms and the Martins, you understand me, and the Eldridge
Million Man March.
and the Million Man March to, but specifically like when they was pulling up to these meetings. Like the Black Panthers had the meetings and the brothers was pulling up and it was full of members and they ready for a revolution. The people are going through a renaissance right now. And education is at that forefront of the renaissance because the world is shifting and the powers of the world is shifting, and now we get the ability to export a different aspect of our culture, a higher level of our culture. Because one thing that I know damn for sure, even with me, when I'm not productive, I'm entertaining myself, right? I'm distracting myself, and I'm distracting, right? I'm in that act of distracting, taking me away from my real goals, visions, and attractions. But when I'm focused, I'm educating myself. I'm getting knowledge that feeds into me producing a better vision. You understand me? And now we get into a place where society goes separate the difference between what's real value, you understand me, and what's BS. And unfortunately, a lot of the entertainers go find themselves in the category of completely unnecessary, right? And they just go be soundtracks, background, without that same level of influence, because as we educate the people higher, it ain't no way we can allow them to stay in your grips if you don't also push them towards a trajectory of higher consciousness.
I see you saying that, you know, the world is changing.
Yeah.
Cultures is shifting. What was once cool ain't cool no more. But when I see these new black brands on the rise still, or some of them that still exist, they still doing American marketing. And when you go doing American marketing, you know, it's over-sexualized. The music is demonized. And they still think that's the way, but it's still like it put a cap on your brand because we only like that shit in America. They ain't doing it globally around the world. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what a person would consider a lower vibration, a lower frequency, right? If you take two triangles, and I hope a Mexican clip this right there. It's two triangles, right?
Yeah.
You got one like the Star David, and then you got the other one that points downward, right? An arrow that points upward. Everything of that higher consciousness is going to be you ruling self. You ruling all of your lower inclinations, your ego, pride, sexual energy, right? Animal urges, animal mind. And then the other one is going to be towards enlightenment, focus, discipline. You understand me? Mastery of self. What's marketed is being ruled by left brain, low ego desires. You understand me? Not higher consciousness, power, control of self, right? So they can't make money off you being tapped into your higher self.
Right.
That's not what their models towards. Their models are towards you being tapped into your lower. So I need you to eat low vibrational foods, listen to low vibrational music. You understand me? Be controlled by your ego, right? I need you to buy into a death culture rather than a culture that's based on longevity and life and health.
Yeah.
So one is like the pharmaceutical companies and the hospitals and doctors, like their industries is based on disease, not health. And that's the same thing with the marketing and the branding of capitalism. Capitalism is automatically intrinsic with manipulation and scamming and things of that nature because it's about taking advantage of another person for the point of capital, right?
Yeah.
So that's inherent in the entire system. So unless we live in a completely different system that's not based on capitalism, then the greed will always be there. And that lower vibration will always rule it.
And I want to stay on this subject, but these next few questions that I'm gonna ask you, when you answer them for me, I want you to incorporate your business model into it. You know what I'm saying? Into your answer. So we're gonna get back into like, the average person see about 2,500 advertisements per day. So it leaves you with the next question is, how can I make my brand stand out from it? And in America, they instantly go to the destruction or whatnot. I'm gonna stick to this one, over-sexualization, you know what I'm saying? They instantly go to that, try to push that for their brand or whatnot, which can cause, more damage than good to their brand because it promotes, actually our kids see it and they think this is the way to go. And it might turn some women off from your brand because they don't want to be, displayed that way. So with you, right, having, different brands or whatnot, how do you find ways to keep your brand, a high-end brand, but stand out against the rest of the brands that are in the same field as you?
I solve the problems they create. I believe that that's why I have value in business in the first place. Like, all of those brands, what happened is, especially for women, the algorithm controls the women nowadays, right? The algorithm that says that if you are fully clothed, you only get 50 likes, but if you are naked, then you get 1,000 likes. So we operate and we go through prime behavior that the reward is, if I take my clothes off, the algorithm will reward me, right? And the algorithm is going to see how much people are liking it, right? How long people are staring at it, how many people are saving it, how many people are sharing it, how many impressions it gets. So the algorithm wants to continue to put more of this into the algorithm. They can tell if you naked on your post, so they might suggest that's for somebody else. Right. So it's going to automatically start helping you, pushing it, working for you, right? Because more people whose brain starts to feed into that, you don't like one naked picture, Instagram will send you another one, so they can continue to keep you on there. So you start to become a slave of the algorithm. Because it's rewarding you, you start behaving in a way that it will allow you to continue to grow. So it also goes towards certain poses. Women will start posing a certain way. Oh, this girl had this certain pose, it worked for her. A person emulate that, it works for them. Then it becomes something to where it becomes another trend, and you start to see all these women posing the same, right? Yeah. Sticking their ass out in one photos to the side, trying to get the little silhouette. You understand me? Taking certain photos and kissy face and duck faces and all of these different body poses, faces, and things that they do. Then you know, they start looking at it for financial stability. Well, you buying the ass, you buying the titties, you creating an avatar on your own body so that you can sell and use it as an object of value, right? And so you start to make yourself your own product and you start to sell the sexiness of yourself, right? And so, of course, there's going to be, you know, you got the ones that sell the flat tummy tea, you understand me? That have these girls with these body dysphorias and have them throwing up their food, and, you know, like bulimia and things of that nature.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into that. So that's dangerous. And then, of course, you have hip hop, you know what I mean? The women in hip hop, in a rap game, they sexy. You feel me? They can, a lot of them can rap, but they rap about the same thing, right? Niggas that they taking advantage of, niggas they getting over with, women that they don't like, women that hate them, why they this, that, and the third. They take on the ego characteristics of what they seen in the male rappers, and then they reverse that, put that on themselves, and now they become their own ideal of their oppressor, right?
Yeah.
So that's the empowering aspect that they believe in. So, but you become a slave of that whole thing, right? But when you look up the person that's the most successful, you want to inspire to be like them. So whoever is that female at the top, right? Whether it's the Nicki Minaj or it's
You
the
feel like
Cardi
you gotta
B,
do what they did,
or
to
it's
get
the
that.
Megan Thee Stallion, or it's whoever it may be.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of them now. You know, you go dress the part to try to get to that level of success.
Right.
Right? And so,
But how do you make your brand, the 19 Keys brand, stand out?
I stand out because there's a lot of people that now are, like you said, they facing the dysfunctions that come with that, the stress, the anxiety, the depression. You understand me? Some people even become suicidal trying to keep up with this world and this industry in the way that it is. And what I represent is a beacon. I represent a completely new culture, a different culture that's anti-culture than that one, right? It's like, nah, over there, what they celebrate and what he represents is me not being a part of the flock. You understand me? Standing up for a better culture and having success at the same time. So men and women gravitate towards that, right? A mindset that they wish that this mindset ruled the world, but it doesn't. It's not frequent enough, right? So the dominant frequency is one of that other that's counterculture. And this one that is of a new culture, that righteous, that good, that godliness, you feel me? This is the one that people gravitate towards because they want more of that to be seen, and they want more of that truth to be spoken, and they want more of that representation to exist in the next generation and within themselves, but they don't have the ability to make that transition because they lack integrity.
Yeah.
And they fear losing a position in the world that they have because they built everything that they have now on being a slave of the algorithm.
Yeah, so what you telling me, what I'm taking from that is you built your business on integrity. You know what I'm saying?
On principles.
On the principles and morals, you know what I'm saying? And you got some type of integrity. So you built it with the vision of creating a longevity brand.
Yeah, I mean, not even just that, it's like, you know, when it comes to the idea of speaking truth to power, it's so much that I see in society that I want to speak on. I want to be a voice for it because we get bullied into not speaking about anything no more because you get punished for everything, almost on every platform. And that's why it's like, you know, I know the ideas of ID 22, people, they say that they go chip you, put the digital versions of you on the blockchain, make you slave to this, that, and the third. I get that aspect of what people spread in the information that they receive, and perhaps that's a reality for, you know, whatever institution that wants to put that into play. But my whole idea is that this is a technology that we can use. It's like a gun. A gun can be used against you or for you. It can protect your family, you understand me, or it can kill your family. So at the end of the day, if we able to mobilize into this Web3 space, own our own data, then we have the ability to control our images. We have the ability to control our algorithms. We have the ability to reward and find success and gain wealth without our children and women and men feeling like they have to assimilate to society in order to get it. You know what I'm saying?
So man to man, right? How do you leverage your platform on your brand, you know what I'm saying, how do you use your brand in the available different platforms, you know what I'm saying, to continue your brand awareness?
Oh, man, you know, I got an intelligent brand, I got a revolutionary brand. So Anytime I get on somebody else's platform, I'm able to cipher within their audience and they gain exposure over here. And there's gonna be a percentage of people who tap into this frequency that lock in with me because they about that God energy too. You feel me? So if I get on somebody else's platform, I'm trying to give as many solutions as possible. I'm trying to serve on that platform to add value, and that's gonna attract the people to come over. You understand me? Because most people, they want a better standard of life, a better standard of thinking, and that's what I try to help them gain. When I get on somebody else's platform, I'm just giving them the game. But I can talk about whatever people want to talk about, but it's gonna be solution-based.
Yeah, solution based. All right. So you want to talk about what the people talking about, right?
Yeah.
So I'm finna get into a conversation, and we gonna come up with some solutions for all of this, right?
Yeah.
In the media, right, social media, right, one of the big things that's been going on is the Kanye and Kim situation as far as the TikTok. He don't want his daughter on TikTok. And I relate to that because I feel like Kanye. Listen, y'all, I hate it. When I see my daughter and I get that phone, I delete the app every time. I don't care how many TikToks she done spend, it's getting deleted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like now, doing that TikTok shit, bro, these little girls, bro, they skipping the preteen age. They skipping over preteen and jumping straight into adulthood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a tough topic, man. That's a tough situation that the brother in. I think, you know, I send energy to the brother that he and host that, you know, his mind, spirit, you know, his environment is stable, you know, and everything is functional where he can make decisions that are not only good for himself in the space that he in, but for the culture that he wants to push forward, you know, and the projects that he wants to move forward. You know, who you marry makes a difference. You understand me? Kanye West, somebody that, you know, I've always listened to his music and admired the way that he thinks, his genius, creativity, godliness, and, you know, watching that interview, that documentary, showed me a side of him that you can't really appreciate unless you have full context. You know, to be able to really see a person's journey is to be able to appreciate, especially knowing the gravity that he was up against as he was trying to ascend. You know, and the beautiful relationship that he had with his mother. You know, I think she had that type of angelic voice where it was like, she was that angel that she kept telling Kanye was watching after him. You understand me? She was that stability for him to go to, because he was a giant, and she's like in the movie Hulk, you know, your ego is kind of like Hulk. And then, but Hulk, every time he came to his lady in his love, she calmed the man down. You understand me? And he was able to just relax in his form. You understand me? And be calm and to be rational and think. And that's how his mom was. She was the only person that could calm Hulk down. And I think Kanye believed that he could get that in Kim, you know. But you know, that's a different type of family. It's social media based family. You understand me? It's facing the public, right? And that's what she got famous off of. So you would have to know that's what you're extending a legacy into. Their whole family is on social media. Their whole family has TV shows. So at the same time, I understand the pain of Kanye West, because I would not want my daughter on TikTok becoming a slave to the algorithm. It's not just fun and games, it's a business, right? It's a predatory practice business at the same time. So I would hate to be in that situation, but at the same time, there's a lot of accountability that he has to take, because he decided to have multiple children with a woman who is the social media god of the world.
All right, so we can take Kanye and Kim out of it for the everyday people, right? And their kids are doing this. I don't think it's right, bro. I think every family should have a balance, you know what I'm saying, in this journey of life. You know what I'm saying? Kids need to enjoy the joys of childhood. Then they should enjoy the joys of preteen, being a preteen. Then they should enjoy the joys of being a teenager. Then they should enjoy the joys of being an adult. You know what I'm saying? We can't be skipping one and just jumping to the other one. You know, the kids nowadays, they jump from 10 to 18. You know what I'm saying? And that's because of their social media. That social media, man, got, like, Kylie Jenner, for example. She was doing a little plastic surgery before she was 18 with millions of followers. Now the kids think, man, this is what we got to do to look good and be beautiful, you know? And then for a family to even want their child to see that and think it's okay to be putting on makeup on these little kids, knowing that it's predators on the internet, and then get outraged when the father say something, because the women really accept it because they on there doing it.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what I see.
they don't have the same moral system.
Yeah.
You know, if you ain't got the same moral system and principles as a person and those things aren't aligned, you all are going to accept and try to put two different things into your child.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a fight. It's a war at that point in time. It's a war for that child's spirit. You understand me? Their purity, their innocence, their faith, their belief, their principles, their mind, their being, their body. All of that becomes a war between two parents if they're not aligned. Yeah. So that's the most dangerous part. And then social media, you know, as you know, children nowadays, they use it for entertainment. You know, I talked to some children at the Muhammad University in New York, and they told me, you know, we use it for entertainment. You know, the same way we used cartoons for entertainment when we was younger, watching mindless cartoons that probably didn't always have the best message in them. Same way, you know, we would watch violent cartoons or play violent games, you know, that probably didn't prime the best behavior in us, right?
Yeah.
But social media has a different element because you're on there with adults too, right? And it's killing the creativity of the child because they don't think for themselves.
They follow the trend.
They follow the trend. So they
Yeah.
lose their identity, and their identity becomes a part of this collective sheeple mentality that you're rewarded if you follow the trend. You understand me? Not create them and set them. Now, and at the same time, the filters destroy their ability to find beauty in themselves because they always feel like they need to look better and to correct themselves. And the platform's job is to keep you on the platform. They don't care about your health, your mental health. So it's very destructive that a parent would not think about the consequences that are possible and not try to shield their child for as long as possible before introducing them to that platform that should have a high age limit. But number two, that child has to be educated, have knowledge of self, know themselves before their developing brain is allowed to be on those platforms, which are, let's just get 100%, they are the new drugs. A child might, so you may think a child is doing good because, well, I was smoking at this age, or I was doing drugs at this age, but that child new drug is the social media.
The likes, the shares, the followers.
And it can cause the stress, the issues, the adverse childhood experiences, and the dysphorias that a child grows up and develops. And you might not know that because you got to wait to see what happens.
And one thing you just said that was key to me, right? These children are following what's trendy.
Yeah.
So me personally, this is Steve Jones' opinion. I don't think no kid should be on TikTok. You shouldn't be on that shit until you're 18, in my opinion, because this is what I'm seeing on the internet. And that's why I don't get on TikTok, because what I done seen it already. The little kids be dancing to music that is talking about sex, and the trends, the dances are sexualized.
They trancing the kids, putting them in transom, and at the same time, this shit is like priming for pedophilia. It's weird.
Man,
you understand me? It's sad because this is music that adults are making so that other adults can be in a sexualized spirit. You understand me? Thinking about sex, talking about getting head, talking about twerking and shaking their ass, or talking about, you know, having sex with a man or woman for money, or
I think
killing.
This shit doing more harm to our young girls though than.
Well, I think it's twofold. I think that it's doing harm to both. It's just that we just don't regard the purity of a young boy the same way we do as a girl.
Right.
You understand me? Like when a young boy loses his virginity and a young girl loses her virginity, essentially the same thing is happening. Right? It's going to be a change in their mind, right? The change in their body, change in how they grow and develop into who they're supposed to be. It's like a lot of young boys may get may meet older women that's predatory towards them when they're younger, right? That they have a sexual experience with. But because the young boy is never told that, you know, his essence is pure and that he's supposed to protect his temple and that it's dangerous for these things to happen to him, he never looks at that as a bad thing because he said, well, that's something that I wanted, which is using the very nature of the young boy and his testosterone against him. But what happens is it changes the way he behaves towards women the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Because if one of his first experience was that an older woman was a predator towards him, you understand me? Then that morally becomes okay because that's now how he sees women. And so when he sees the young girl, that's how you gonna treat her. So it becomes justified. And so, yeah, the spirit of young boys is not protected. And we know the spirit of young girls are not protected. And at the same time, I feel for women because we live in a society that's so low, right? That, of course, a man can show his nipples, a woman can't.
Right.
Right? And to be honest, if we had a righteous society, a good society where people weren't sickos and everything about the woman wasn't sexualized, that when you see a woman, I mean, come on, we know when we walk past a woman, you got to turn your head and look at her ass.
Yeah.
Because her body features are so sexualized that the physicality of her is what you value. And so the spirit, the mind, the personality, right, her principles, and all of those things of that nature is second, third, fourth, fifth.
But this the thing.
What you count as her value.
Wait, hold up. This the thing though that I noticed when I was overseas. I couldn't do that. We couldn't, like, you really couldn't turn around and look like that unless you was looking at the beauty in her face because these women had on
they just
trench.
wasn't thick out there.
They had on the trench
They
coats
just wasn't
and all,
thick,
man,
Steve,
they was
stop
fully
it.
dressed, bro.
They just wasn't thick in the UK.
I wasn't.
This big
listen,
Keys talking. I'm gonna keep it a buck
didn't
with
start,
you.
That thought wasn't in my mind to be just like, because in the UK they fully dressed and fully covered.
Well,
so
it was cold.
Like,
listen, I don't know how they dress in the
summer.
I'm not gonna listen. No disrespect to the sisters in the UK and France, but I mean I don't know their moral position. But I can't just say that they just of higher esteem. I wasn't there in the summer. I don't know what they what their version of a freaknik
that was my
be like.
perspective of it.
You understand me? Because at the end of the day, when we pulled up to Rashad and he was at that club, same thing as America. Same thing as America.
That was Paris, not London. We ain't gonna put that on London.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
But you know what?
Come on, bro. You know it's the same thing. I'm gonna just say that because at the end of the day, I think the same thing happens. I mean, it's winter time. They not gonna be dressing in thongs in the winter and walking outside. You feel me? And at the same time, leisure wear was not something that was commonly accepted in a lot of places. You feel me? So it's different dynamics. But we do spread that culture out, unfortunately, a lot. But I only say that because I know people gonna be listening to this like, where the hell was Steve going? You understand me? Like, no, we definitely got that in our culture. You understand me? That runs. You feel me?
Why y'all ain't taking me there, dog? But nah, this the thing though. We gonna get back to this social media, TikTok. Cause I did just say something that I just had to, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go back on that. I said that it affected the young girls
And
more.
no disrespect, when I said y'all not thick out there, I know y'all might take that to heart, but only saying that because in comparison to America, y'all not thick out there.
Yeah, all right. Let's get back serious. Bring it back. Ain't gonna bring it back.
Man to man, we keep it a buck on this show. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep it real on this show.
But I did say that it affect our young girls more.
Because when I went to South Africa, oh boy. I'm just keeping it in 100, you know what I'm saying? It's part of the culture.
Like, man,
all right.
We gotta get these people some game, man.
I've been around the world, so you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, well, he ain't taking me on that trip.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't looking like that, but I noticed, you know what I'm saying?
But nah, for real though, I did say that. Like, this is like my 4th time saying that, right?
Yeah.
I said that it affected the social media,
Absolutely,
TikTok
100%.
affected young women.
It's very unfortunate.
But I'm gonna go back on that. It actually affect the young boys too. But the way it affect the young boys, it makes them become more disrespectful toward each other and, you know what I'm saying, to themselves when they put out those images on their social media.
Well, you know, a lot of men don't see the same level of value in women that they used to before. Like, I seen a meme that said that there is a large epidemic of bitch-ass podcasts that talk shit about women and black women specifically.
Hell yeah.
It's a bad epidemic
not the man
of a lot of those weak soy boys because they can't get a woman. Women don't like them because they weak, they spineless, they suckers. You understand me? They don't know how to stand up, be a man, don't want to take that strength and follow a real one. You understand me? And so they blame all their issues and problems on women instead of correcting what's wrong within.
Yeah.
You know, so we got an epidemic because those weak men follow other weak men that validate their weakness. And ladies, you know it ain't y'all fault. I'm gonna put that on us. Y'all do perpetuate some of the stereotypes and typicals that shouldn't be in existence. But at the end of the day, those weak ass podcasts, you gotta stop listening to them. That's the only way the message stops circulating.
Yeah, because like those podcasts and shit, like they saying, they doing it for the likes and the views. That's what's going viral and shit. Grown ass men arguing on Clubhouse.
Yeah,
We don't
man,
need no
that's
more of
all
that.
man.
We don't need to be saying that type of shit.
We gotta.
Even the hip hop music, bro. Like it started off in Chicago. They said they smoking on the dead homies, all that shit. Now they doing it in St. Louis. Now they doing it in Houston. Now they doing it in California. We can't be putting out these images in the media, and then when we lose somebody, and then we all crying like, man, why it happened? Y'all done put this frequency out, and these the results that come behind them type of frequencies, bro. You know?
Bro, we kill people who look just like us.
The most.
So how we we know that we up against the devil, but at the same time, we become bigger devils when we kill each other. Because it's worse when we kill each other.
Yeah.
You understand me? Because you literally, the person that will be your best ally in life, you'll shoot that person. You got to understand this. And when it's proximity murders. That's where you get, environmental crimes, or what they call black on black crimes. You understand me? There's white on white crimes, yellow on yellow crimes, and every other culture, right?
Yeah.
But when you kill, when you walk past a black man, and automatically he feels like your enemy, you understand me? That's a big self-hate. When you in the neighborhood, and it's the brother that listens to the same music as you, dressed like you, same taste as you, got the same enemy, pressure, oppression that he goes through, and that's the prime person that you target to hunt. Because remember, drill music is hunting black men music. That's it. It's demon time. I'm on that. I'm on that. I'm about to go kill. Like my energy is this. Yeah. That's the vibration that they getting. That's hunting black men music. That somebody who looks like me, they life ain't got no value, and I snuff it out fast. You ain't out there trying to hunt a cop, a politician, a banker, one of the boys that write the bad contracts
every day.
That control the environments. Nah. So we got our greatest soldiers become our greatest enemies. You understand me? We got a civil war that's happening because, it's multiple different reasons. But I was talking to a sister out in the UK when I made the post about 10 Gray, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
And she was explaining how I ain't even gonna talk about the different sides because that's not the politics I want to get into, but she was basically saying there was a regime that came in and gave these people all these different flags that allowed them to just set up their own flags, right? When at first it was a nation ruled by one flag, right? So you get that concept. Everybody under this one flag. Then the nation say everybody can get their own flag. So this different ethnic groups, everybody starts setting out. You got different languages that people speaking. All of a sudden, I got my flag, you got your flag.
Essentially creating your own little nation.
It creates division. One got to be better than the other one.
Yeah.
You understand me? I don't like you. You don't like me. We start battling, fighting, going to war with each other, right? Whole time, the regime is the real enemy that's keeping us in this bad conditions. You understand me? Creating the issues, the problems. So they roll in, they drop off the guns. They exacerbate the issues and problems within those groups because it's easier to control them if they all divided. Yeah. You take that same group of people and they all united, then they automatically see that they all have a common enemy, right? Same thing happened in America. Before, the gang culture got into America, and the gangs, of course, was created to be community protection against the police and things of that nature, protect the women, right? But what happens when all of the flags got introduced? All of a sudden, we banging, mine's better than the other, blood feuds, guns get dropped off, the same division happens. So instead of one flag, we under one power, we all black as a nation.
You a Crip, you a
now,
GD, you
right,
a Blood, you
right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. And now that perpetuates a war that lasts forever. And not only just that, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you straight, you gay, you Muslim, you Christian. You understand me? You 5%, you Israelite, you more. We got so many different flags.
But it's all designed to keep us in the lower caste system so we won't rise above those other ethnicities.
Remember, if we all had one flag, then we under one nation. You understand me? And then we see commonality. We see each other as of people, and then we realize who our real enemy is, so we no longer distracted.
Yeah, and we'll run this shit. All this shit will be ours, you know what I'm saying? Like it is originally. It's ours.
I mean, we built it, we just don't own it.
But these young dudes, they still falling into the regime, that same shit. For an example, bro, like I don't even really want to get off and deep into it because I don't care what either one of these two particular rappers believe in and what they do on their own. But I'm more concerned about the message that they giving to my brothers. You know, you got NBA Youngboy doing a song with Nas X. Now I can care, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, they personal lives, that's on them. But the message that they putting out is promoting black on black crime, because all he rap about, to me, when I hear his music, is drill music, killing each other, go hunting, whatever, doing that, the hunting music. And then, you know, Nas X represent the LGBT community. And when I see both of them coming together, the message is clear as day. We killing the black each other with no reproduction of my people. And I always say this, I always talk about this a lot, it's stopping the reproduction. If you kill each other, if me and you was the ops, and we kill each other, it's no more of us. Our population decreases. If two men are together dating, we decrease, we can't reproduce. Two men can't reproduce, you know what I'm saying? So, but they doing it, and the culture look at it and be like, oh, they doing it for the money. They doing it for the money the same way Hollywood will pay these men $50 million to put on a dress. And now, other young boys saying this, say, shit, I'll take that $50 million too. They doing it for the money. They try to use money to keep us, you know what I'm saying, becoming feminized or demonized now, you know what I'm saying?
There's no point in time in our history where we ever looked up to a young man
Exactly.
because he put on a dress. Or he over-sexualized himself. He put on makeup. He put on boots, mascara, purses.
But you
hold on, There's never been a time in history where that had any value
at all.
Ever. Never. And even today, it has even less value. So, you know, whether you're talking about Nas X, who represents an effeminized version of a young male, then you have, what's his name? NBA Youngboy, who represents a hyper masculine version, but at the same time he wears makeup and things of that nature as well. So it's confusing. And then he does songs with 6ix9ine and Lil Nas. So what does that whole little realm represent? It represents chaos in the minds of these young boys, because what they follow are them. My nephew listened to NBA Youngboy.
Yeah.
You understand me? And that's what happens when you don't have real men that lead you in your life. You understand me? And when everything becomes about the money, that becomes your God. When they started making these arguments that, you know, a rapper was great because they sold a certain amount of songs, that has nothing to do with greatness. The issue with Eminem is that same thing, is that we don't care how many records he sells if we don't listen to the music.
Yeah.
Because what rules the culture is the people who created it. You're talking about black people. We are the essence that validates culture.
Yeah.
And we don't listen to Eminem, so the numbers don't matter. And it's not that I'm targeting Eminem, but it's the same thing with when you talk about what's good for us or what's great. Just because you can move numbers don't mean that you're great. You are great at selling a product, right? Tapping into this algorithm and capitalizing off moments or having a certain community. But when we talk about greatness, that's a different level of brilliance. And none of them boys that we just talked about now, they don't represent something that you would ever want your child to listen to, because it doesn't represent life. It represents death.
Exactly.
It represents the complete loss of principles, the complete loss of culture, the complete loss of integrity. That's just the reality of it. And everybody knows it, but nobody's willing to say it because it's a dangerous field over there. Them boys is killing each other. Them boys is sending each other to jail. You understand me?
Yeah.
Like, them boys are trying to get people counseled and blackballed, and that's so there's a fear of it.
Yeah.
So that gangster shit that we used to talk about in the culture don't exist, because everybody fears these young boys instead of speaking to them real. I like what Wallow did, because he had a real conversation with them. Now, I can't tell you whether that goes to penetrates the heart, right? Because a lot of them heartless and they don't feel because they kill. You understand me? But somebody did. Somebody was affected by it, and that's why it was necessary.
I'm glad that Wallow and Gilly them even did it like that, because a lot of people watched that interview. I think that video they did like 2 million in a day or two. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people seen that, but subtract the men and focus on the message. The message that he trying to say, man. You know, I'll talk about it all the time. I've been to jail. I was just in there with the young dude.
Yeah.
They can't handle the jail nowadays, bro, because the way they are designed in this new generation, everything is fast. Fast, fast, fast. When you take it from them and you put them in a room and they ain't got no distractions, they mind can't handle it. It can't adjust and adapt to being still. So what they do next? They brings to get some more black men to come in jail. You know what I'm saying? And they don't understand, like, man, that type of shit, like, I was in there, bro, looking at them young dudes, like, man, that's crazy. They got short attention span. They didn't even want to read a book, bro. They wanted the urban novel, or they wanted to hear the 9 o'clock mix at night. They don't want no knowledge and shit. They wanted, unless it's fast coming to them right now, they can get it right there. That's how they want it. Can't do that in jail. Can't do that in jail. Fact. It was sad, bro.
You know, tough. I mean, you already know, growing up in St. Louis, you know, Oakland, most of our comrades, you know, they gone. You know, whether it's mentally or they physically gone. Yeah. You understand me? And so we see the detriments and the effect that the streets, the culture, the environment, the drugs, the music, the game have on us. Yeah. And so trying to pull out as many as possible is what's necessary, but really trying to get that we are in competition with getting attention and getting the message to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, people tell me I'm too intelligent to put on their platform.
Hold on, stop. I want you to say that again. We are in competition with getting the attention on conversations like this that we having to our people.
Yeah, because, I mean, if we ain't talking about killing each other, it ain't gossip, it ain't some BS, we ain't just making jokes and comedy, then they don't have, like you said, they ain't even got the attention span to sit down and listen to mine the conversation for nuggets. They got to be willing to want to absorb a different kind of energy, a different type of rhythm and frequency in life, and want to be able to tap in, you know? And so that's why I focus on, like, well, let me teach you how to make some money then. Let me teach you this game of this world. Let me teach you how to be a man, because most of them, they come to me for that mindset.
Yeah.
You understand me? Because you want to learn how to think in this world and how to move. There's so many things going on. Getting hold of your mind is tough. Like those little boys that we talked about just then, they all got mental issues.
Yeah.
They do. Like, that's the empathy that I have for them. Like, they got mental issues. A lot of them just went through extreme bouts of trauma. Adding that with money and platform and influence, man, they're going crazy in front of the world. We talking about Kanye, but the young ones going crazy. Kanye ain't killing nobody. Kanye ain't, you know what I'm saying? These young boys ain't going out there and making bad decisions because Kanye is blasting his marriage and his situation with his children and having a beef with Skeet. Like, let me just keep it a buck. We don't care.
We don't care about
Skeet
at all.
We talking about cats that's really dying, and we want to use our platform so that Skeet don't get hurt. Nobody care about that. Kanye West, I don't know a black man to this date that Kanye West is responsible for killing. I don't know a black woman to this date he's responsible for killing, or his music is responsible for their detriment.
Right.
And influencing them in a pattern of thinking that harms them. So I'm not putting my attention on Kanye West and criticizing him. My criticism is going to be directed towards those who I know music is directly harming us and killing us. Yeah. That's different. So if you go use your platform to speak your mouth, then speaking about the young boys that's out there talking about killing, murdering, and smoking on each other. Like, otherwise, shut the fuck up.
Man, real talk. And then, like, they just touched my spirit, bro. We in competition, we're getting the attention, bro. Like, when people see us out, it just happened to us leaving London, bro. We was on the way back, and we got about 8 black bags of luggage, bro. We coming through the airport. We almost get pulled to the side. They tell me, what's that? This our clothes and merchandise.
Yeah.
Top Crown.
Yeah.
You want to see?
Top Crown
You want to buy something? That's what I'm thinking. But he said, the first thing they said was, what, y'all some rappers or something?
His name was Young Blood.
And his name was Young Blood. That like 12 followers though. Yeah, he got 13 now. Yeah. But everybody want to say when they see us, they say, "Oh, y'all some rappers," because they might see 19 keys with all
I
the
do got
gold
too
on.
many. I do got unnecessary amount of chains on.
But at the same time, the gold is an asset. We ain't got on no bust downs. We ain't, you know what I'm saying?
No, I do got on the bust down.
But the thing is, your whole image, you ain't out here buying, depreciating your jewelry though. You know what I'm saying? You out here going to get the gold. You ain't going to mess it up and crank it up and put all the diamonds in it. You know what I'm saying?
But on this one I did.
But I know for sure that my brother got a band, the all gold band in his red.
Yeah.
For sure. Like I know this, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I know
sir.
you can switch it up if you wanted to.
Yes, sir.
But at the same time that people don't know that gold is an asset.
Yeah.
So just because you might see them, you know what I'm saying, shining, no, this was an investment. You strategically bought it as an investment.
Yeah,
correct?
Absolutely. And to be able to leverage it, you know what I mean, as an asset to diversify.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you know, the image, I can carry multiple images, a militant image, street image, it's all me.
Yeah.
Like, growing up in Oakland, I remember I was on Clubhouse and having a conversation with Meek. And we had an intelligent conversation about, you know, changing the environment and the atmosphere of what's going on in the culture. And he stopped and asked the question. He said, yeah, but where you from, though? Right? And I knew why he was asking this. Because I'm sure he probably thought I was going to say, like, Iowa, Minnesota, or not Minnesota, because Minnesota crazy, too. Right? Yeah. But, like, some environment where it's a reason why I had a privilege and was able to get a certain education and develop my mind in a certain way. And I'm like, nah, I grew up in St. Louis and Oakland. You know what I'm saying? Like, them environments dangerous and detrimental. But I use myself as an example because if I can get through it, then you can. It's just I really had an intention on getting myself out. Right? And it ain't got nothing to do with, like, you know, my parents and our household and our family, it's a broken household. Like, all of the adverse childhood experiences that you can possibly go through that say you should be dead, diseased, in jail, you understand me, and poor, we went through all of those experiences. And against all the odds, we still find our mind. Yeah. You understand me? And I got to give that thanks, of course, all praise due to Allah, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his teachings and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has always been a guiding light to where I get to learn that information, get that knowledge yourself, and come back on my ding. You understand me? Yeah. And that's what everybody need to tap into, and that's why I move the way I move, because everybody need keys.
And Steve Jones.
Well, I wouldn't say keys. I'm just saying they need keys in their life, like something that's gonna unlock them.
They need
you know what I'm talking about?
They need young men like Steve Jones, 19.
No, that's a super
and
fact.
My brother Poop.
I promise you, I'm gonna be a better influence in your life than, 99% of the influences that's in them currently.
Like, a lot of people I know, they've been reaching out to me lately, especially, bro. You know, they was like, they love my growth of me coming, man. I spent all my life, bro, in the streets. But now I'm making this shit cool to leave that shit alone. Leave it alone, bro, because everybody I ran the street with, every day, bro, we was talking about how we gonna get up out of it. You know what I'm saying? But we was doing shit that would keep us in it. Yeah. Still selling drugs. We still beefing with the neighborhood on the next block. We was doing shit to keep it. We still going to jail. It happened to come over and reset and start over every time we get out. Them jail sentences get longer and longer every case you catch. So you in there longer, and then some cats spend their time in there and don't learn nothing new, no new skill set.
Most people are in jail and they die early from a lack of focus and creativity.
Yeah.
When you really think about the world that we live in today, how many tools we have access to, and how creative we can be to get ourselves out of our conditions by utilizing our minds, imagination, you understand me, and seeing it through, man, if we can get people to understand that aspect of the power of their own mind, to be able to beat their circumstances, we can change everything. You understand me? Just by getting them to understand that power that they have within. Like, I'm all creativity. I'm all design. I'm all that aspect of a black man designing his way out of his situation, creating his way out of a situation, right? I've never had nobody come to me and say, well, Keys, here's a $20,000 check, $10,000 check. Get yourself out your situation. Here's the capital to just start your business.
Yeah.
Get yourself out your situation.
Real life had to grind on you
every second, every
from
moment.
The darkness in the mind, though. You had to put it together. You had to visualize it and then, manifest it, though.
So that's why when cats come to me and be like, Keys, you too high level. Niggas in the hood don't want to hear the words, don't want to hear the conversation. I'm like, what do you mean? I was in the hood and I heard that conversation and that's what got me out of it. So I'm speaking to the ones that do got that mindset and that potential like me, that they need to hear. The same way sometimes we need to see somebody shining, see somebody doing good. We need to hear somebody intelligent that looks like us, that inspires us to want to be smarter, that want to have a high level conversation. But we literally, as platforms right now that shield their audience from that because they think that it's too smart for them. So you gotta, I know for a fact that we perpetuating this disease called ignorance because we shielding and blocking the culture from getting high level conversations and brilliance and intelligence.
Let's go back to the algorithm thing though. America do that. In China.
No. We not, listen, no more excuses for the culture because we got so much power in media today that we can decide what we want to make cool. Yeah. We can decide today the new brand that we go push, and I ain't saying do that every day. You understand me? But the new brand is we go give certain voices and put them in the algorithm and start to change the culture. Yeah. If all rappers started competing with the showcase of their mind and their intelligence, it becomes a culture, right? More people tune into it the same they would have tuned in for something else. Yeah. So we gotta force the algorithm to change by forcing the culture and making the algorithm change around the culture instead of the culture change to the algorithm.
Told you, man, on Man to Man podcast, gonna come up with the solutions, man. Like, it's time out of focusing on the problems, man. A lot of people, that's just like when you accomplish something and you celebrating too long. You miss your chance to, accomplish something else.
Yeah.
We focus on the solutions on this side, man, which is what everybody needs to be doing, man. You hear me? He want to switch up the swag now. Check him out.
Peace, family. 19 Keys tapping in with you. This episode is brought to you by Goldwater. My high electrical thoughts are always stimulated with the gold, right? Because I'm always on the go. Now, we're born with 0.02% of gold within our body, for those who didn't know that. Now, scientists believe that the reason we're actually born with this gold in our body, given that gold is a heavy metal, makes it a superconductor of electricity, and our bodies operate off electricity with 70-90% water, we actually need that gold. Now, they believe that it's because of anti-inflammation and also to electrify the nerve ending between the cells within your body, right? Now, why would that even be important in the first place, and how can I qualify that to have anything to do with this high-level thinking? Well, it's my firm belief, and it's also the understanding of science and biology itself, that the body is an electrical system and it needs electricity. When we're young, we have all of this amazing energy, right? We can just run fields and fields. And then over time, our energy decreases, getting lower and lower and lower as adults. You understand me? We can barely run down the stairs before our heart palpitating and it's about to explode like we Homer sitting on the couch in Simpsons. You understand me? So what happens to our body over time? Well, we put the wrong things in it and we rust out our body and it's no longer as electrical. We still have the same amount of potential, but the electricity needed to power up our bodies at maximum potential is no longer there. So putting things like the gold in there is reviving your body, recharging you to that natural childlike energy that you once had before. Now, of course, you want to eat clean so you have maximum absorption rate of the gold and you can tap in. Make sure you do your own studies on the gold, consult with your doctors, and after you're done, come to the healers and tap in to the same thing the Egyptian gods used to utilize, and that's gold.
Yeah, is it anything you want to ask me?
How do you feel about, like, let's say, like, me and Lakeith got into a little back and forth on IG. You know, I met Lakeith in Oakland, at the set of Sorry to Bother You. I know people be seeing that on Netflix. It's an interesting story behind that. While I was in the movie a couple times. But we had conversations, like real life conversations. We had conversations about the industry, the feminization of the industry. We had conversations about the concept of Yakub, the making of the devil. Like we had some real high level conversations on that set. And bro had a high level mindset. Like he was smart and intelligent, come straight from the streets. You know, he come from out there in LA, or out here in LA rather. And so I know he knows. That's what I'm saying. I remember seeing him at the weekend party, and we had another conversation. And when he spoke to me, he automatically, you know, was speaking. Was like, come on, bro, you know I'm really with this revolution. Like, don't think I'll be doing this over here, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, it's cool. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think nothing else of it. I don't be automatically putting my assumptions and judgments on people, because at the end of the day, I don't focus on what you do, I focus on what I'm doing. But long story short, you know, my mother sent me the campaign he did where he got the little stockings on and he crossing his legs and it's like a feminine expression. And I had sent him a private message about that. And it wasn't directly, because I'd say, you know, Dr. West said, we don't attack people, we attack principles. And the thing about it, he had made a post that, you know, nobody can judge me, or you can't tell me nothing if you don't know me, or no, he said, the more you try to tell me not to do something, the more I'm gonna do it, basically. Right? And I think I said something about, you know, that it's a sign that people love you when they try to help guide you in the right direction, or something like that. And he took offense to that, like, yeah, you don't know me, you can't help me do nothing, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, eventually we ended it with, you know, I put out a statement towards him, and I think he understood that it wasn't coming from a place of malice. Yeah. Like, my thing is, do you remember your original principles when you got in this game? Before the industry was your environment, before they started simulating your thought process, before you were hanging around people who were different than the people you originally came in the game with, and these are the things that you started to adapt your frequency and your principles towards. What was your original principles? Because I imagine you came in that game, you understand me, with those ones that you held on strong to, that you didn't want to change, and the industry changes you. So I'm not trying to get you to believe in what I believe in. I'm trying to get you to remember what you believe in. Yeah. You understand me? And what your principles are, and to ask yourself, are you still holding those original ones up that you believed in?
So what's your question?
And so when men talk about expressing their feminine side, right? Because his thing was saying that I'm demeaning femininity. That's what he thought that was, and I'm going to give you my retort to that. What do you believe expressing? No, not even that. Do you think it's okay that men express their feminine side and the way they do in the industry? The makeup, the nails, the clothes, the dresses, all that.
No. See, this the thing, bro. I think I said this before on the Man to Man podcast. When we say tap into your feminine side, it's show more empathy. That means that's what we trying to tell you. Show more empathy, show more love, affection.
Yeah.
But I think these cats now, what they do is they want to look more feminine. They want to look like the woman, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Instead of using, you know what I'm saying, what's on the inside and just, you know what I'm saying, expressing themselves, you know what I'm saying, being vulnerable to certain situations, not all situations. You can be affectionate and romantic with your woman, your lady, you know what I'm saying? But I think they got it twisted with the way, but it's because of the media though, the way they display it. They display femininity as you gotta paint your nails or put on dresses and shit. So I get it why they acting like that, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what they seeing. But that is not the way that we are trying to interpret, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting. That ain't what we interpreting.
And I'm 100% in agreement with that. That the ideas that the male has these days of what is femininity is the issue. It's the lack of understanding femininity that's the issue. And what is feminine, right? When you want to express your feminine side, you don't look at how can I emulate a woman.
No.
Right? Because you inherently have feminine energy within yourself, right? She is the whole embodiment of that, right? You are the whole embodiment of masculine energy, right? and you have to learn to access and tap into that feminine side.
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm going to talk about expressing my feminine energy, you do it in the way you dress, but you can still dress, you understand me, masculine, but your style and the way that you represent yourself, that creative energy you put into that, that's feminine, right? I do art, I paint, I do poetry, I rap. Those are all feminine expressions, right? The controlling of one's emotion and observing one's emotion, you understand me, and temperance, that's the feminine energy. Learning how to express yourself and be communicative of your thoughts and your emotions is feminine energy. The subconscious aspect, you understand me, of yourself, that's the feminine energy, right? Your intuition, your feminine energy. So tapping into that does not mean that, oh, let me go put on a dress or let me pose like a woman. This is my feminine side. You can still be masculine while expressing your feminine energy, because that's how you get to balance. Because here's the problem that I've seen for a long time is that a man, you know, what we had considered, I don't hear the word toxic masculinity no more. We didn't beat that up so much. People stopped putting that in the algorithm, right? Because they couldn't put logic behind it, because they started exposing toxic femininity. If one had to exist, the other had to exist. And what exists in man that is the issue is their lack of understanding the feminine side. Because when you get emotional and you don't understand your feminine side, then you lose control, right? And instead of dealing with that emotion with the power of your feminine energy, right? Having emotional intelligence, right? But we don't have emotional experience, so we don't even have an experience of dealing with how we feel. Then the way you try to deal with that is by suppression, right? Or you get angry and you be controlled by your emotions. That's a lack of self-control and power. So you start to utilize your physical brute, right? Instead of dealing with the array of emotions and feeling who you are and understanding that. So that goes towards a man getting back to these points of understanding self. You understand me? Tapping into understanding what is your feminine side to have emotional intelligence and more emotional experience, right? And you know, go write, go journal, go paint. You understand me? Practice good hygiene. You understand me? Cleanliness and appearance, right? And learn how to communicate yourself, right? And a multitude of different things. Go hiking and go into nature. Nature is feminine energy. If you ever want to see, if you ever want to tap into feminine energy, nature is complete feminine energy. That's how a man can get his balance. He can take his shoes off, go into nature, go next to the trees. That's gonna balance you out. And that's probably, like I said that on the Breakfast Club, that's one of the biggest issues we have is we don't tap into that source of power.
Yeah, but my thing is, bro, with all of that, man, when men like heterosexual men, if they want to identify as heterosexual man to the public, but they start putting on women clothes and all that shit, painting their nails, I no longer consider them as heterosexual males.
Well, that's metrosexual.
Only Metro I know is Metro Link and Metro Bone. For real,
but I think you're right though, because what confusing is that there now becomes like your brand is more connected to the stylization of what we would see typical for a homosexual man. Because masculinity is traits typical to a man, right? But now we have these different assignments on how men classify themselves, right? So the confusing aspect is that, are you representing, right, homosexuality when you do that? Or are you trying to express your feminine side, right? And that's the line that most people, I think, that causes the confusion, because they say, oh, I thought you were straight, but the typical characteristics of the of the homosexual is the flamboyancy and them dressing and appearing more like women. So when you do it, we like, okay, well, if you told me that you were homosexual and you dress like that and you appear like that, then it wouldn't be the confusion and the drawback from it.
Right.
But when you jumping back and forth between, well, today I want to be a revolutionary and then tomorrow I want to paint my nails and wear stockings, it confuses the people.
And this the thing, when you do that, right, without explaining, you just jump one day you're a revolutionary, then the next day you're Dennis Rodman. Wanda, whatever. And then you don't tell people what you're doing, you can't be mad at the feedback you get.
Well, and also the people trying to look out for, they think that, you know, people go automatically like, damn, man, the industry really changing you. Because it is.
Yeah.
You can't tell me the industry ain't changing you if when you was in the hood, you was around your family and your people that know you, love you, look out for you.
We talking about
you wasn't doing that. And then when you go into an industry and that's what they influence you to do, that's not you. That's the industry.
And that's why ownership is important, because when you own your shit and your own brand, own the rights, I'm talking trademark and all that, you ain't got to fall into the institution new guidelines and shit. You can do your own thing the way that you want to brand.
Yeah, that's the power. You know, like even this conversation is counselable conversations. You understand me? Because you're not even supposed to have an opinion no more as a man.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the most messed up thing about society is that you can't even have a perspective anymore. And I think the reason why a lot of things are not accepted anymore is because you alienate my thought process, perspective, and opinion and tell me that mine's is wrong. And unless I accept yours, then I'm not right. You understand me? That's not something that a person can accept. Because then you saying that I have to be open, but you don't. You understand me? Now that's wrong. Because I can be empathetic to the ideas of all people, and that's their perspective and their ideas. That's fine. But why can't you be open to this is my perspective? You understand me? Yeah. And you choosing violence against me, but I'm just having a perspective on what reality is and what I think and what makes me comfortable in my world. Because not one time did we say that, okay, let's commit violence, let's do this, that, and the third. Yeah. It's like the Nation of Islam. You won't find no violence linked to the brothers. But people would dislike them more than they would hate a gang. So we really got an issue with prioritizing, you understand me, where we traject our anger. You understand me? Like, if you want men to stand up, because right now, what I do love is this. I love when I see men stand up for women. I love when I see men praise women, appreciate women, love women, and have that energy towards women because we know that it's not something we think about daily because black men go through so many problems. We be thinking about ourselves. And black women historically have thought about us, our issues, traumas, things of that nature. So I think it is about time that we start thinking about them and the things that they go through. I think that that's a beautiful thing because once we raise them up, we raise the whole nation up. You understand me? And it's hard for us to get over ourselves and get out our ego because we are the most targeted, you understand me, men on the planet Earth. But we have to also be the greatest protectors so that idea, my brother Detroit Era said that, he said, I hate seeing that where people say that black women are the most disrespected because that means that black men ain't doing their goddamn job. When he said that black women are the most unprotected, y'all saying that we weak and we ain't protecting them. Yeah. So you should never want to perpetuate that idea, and there's a double count on that to say that, okay, let's project more black men that protect black women and stand up for that type of honor and integrity, right? Because one way you celebrate black women, protect black women, is projecting the images and the ideas of men who are good for black women and that uphold those principles to protect them, you understand me, and honor them and treat them right. But if you have a society that puts up niggas that don't have love, respect for them, treats them like, hoes at the end of the day, you feel me? And then you talk about protecting black women, well, how is that? Because this image that you praising is counterintuitive. So I see a CEO of a company having a message about how they want to uplift black women, and then on their page the next day, on their media company, they praising a black man whose image is in direct conflict with the message that they just put out. Yeah. So you got to push the type of men who actually are the future of that culture that respect, love, honor black women. And you have to propel the type of women that we believe hold the characteristics and principles that we want to see engineered into our future generations to come.
Yeah.
You understand me? It's a
And that's
dangerous
what I
world.
love about what you and EYL and a lot of other brothers that's in the, you know, financial literacy field. Y'all are collaborating and y'all are teaching these people, y'all teaching our people the game, bro. You know, people real life making money. People DM me. Like, man, yeah, bro, love what y'all doing. Man, we need more brothers like y'all. And like you said, man, y'all just giving us a new structure, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm glad to be a part of it with you, you know what I'm saying? Working with you.
Glad you're
you
a
know what
part
I'm
of
saying?
it.
I love the fact that you gave me an opportunity, bro, you know, to even, you know what I'm saying, speak my wisdom, the little wisdom that I got, and I'm still learning. You know what I'm saying?
Shit, that's how we make this
I
thing go
definitely
round.
appreciate you, but with you collaborating, bro, like, how do you know like who the right people to collaborate with nowadays? You know what I'm saying, with the position that you in?
Man, that's a tough question because, you know, I really want to, you know, decrease the amount of people I give access to myself nowadays, man. You know, everything has to be in alignment. Paperwork got to be right. Character got to be right. You got to have either, you know, you got to have a reputation that's built on trust and integrity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That I can see. I worked with some brothers, you know, my last partnership didn't go the greatest. You understand me? I'm owed 6 figures. You understand me? People did bad management and accounting, you know, and was moving money and taking money when they weren't supposed to. Very unintegrable. You understand me? And, you know, I seen a post today, Wall Street Trapper had put up, he say, you have to be careful of operating and doing what you do because somebody hurt you or treat you wrong. You understand me? Because he say that God not gonna give you those blessings because he know that you coming from the wrong place. So he ain't gonna give you them resources because your intentions are wrong. They backed by the wrong energy. And I'm paraphrasing, but that was sort of the idea of it. And it's like, yeah, you trying to do something to prove somebody else wrong or get some revenge. God ain't gonna give you no platform for that. You understand me? So now you gotta learn, like my spirit has always been collaboration, and that's tough when you go through something, you collaborate, you build a multi-million-dollar company with folks, and that spirit that you had was taken advantage of. You understand me? Make you want to choose violence.
But this the thing though. What I learned, bro, coming from the streets, bro, you never, ever, ever let another nigga or brother or whatever you want to call them change your character.
No,
Just because they did something, you ain't got. It's all about how you respond to it. You know what I'm saying? But I'll never like base my life off. Now I got to start moving like how they just did me because that ain't my character. I know there was some sucker shit. I know there was some folly, but I never want to be a sucker. So why would I come back and try to do the same thing to you? I'm gonna just continue my life with my pure intentions that I've been having, standing on principles and morals. You know?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, it's impossible for a person to change my character. Only I have that power. You know, it's a decision that I would decide to make, and my character unmovable in that area.
Yeah.
It just gives me lessons on how to do it better because it comes with so much experience, and some lessons are just expensive. You understand me?
Expensive
And
thing.
they take time, they take money. You understand me? They take stress. A lot of those things come along with it. But at the end of the day, God will give you those tests because if He knows that if you come out of this, then you worthy of what you gain from it. You understand me? And so I was given so much more than I thought that I had lost. Sometimes you think that you lost an opportunity, but you end up gaining a blessing instead. Like you may go through something dark so you can get enlightenment, you know, and then the mind that you have now can help so many more people. But if you didn't have that experience, you wouldn't have been able to warn people. You wouldn't have been able to teach people. You wouldn't have been able to guide them in the right capacity. And he go test your spirit to see if that's really your character in the first place.
Yeah.
Because you can say that's you, but then you go through one bad relationship, you go through one bad partnership, one bad little deal or whatever, and then now he like, oh yeah, see, that wasn't you. I just had to test it and shake you up a little bit. Yeah. You understand me? Nah, you thought it was you as long as everything was cute and going your way. But who you really are is that person that can't be shaken or stirred no matter what's going on. No matter how many dark times you go through, how many issues, problems, that person, that spirit, that soul that remains on the other end, or whatever conflict, the issue you go, that's your real self.
And on that note, we're gonna close out the Man to Man podcast, man. And that's your real self when you tap into thyself.
Yeah.
You feel me? When you learn yourself at the core and you operating on those principles and morals, putting that good frequency out in the real world, you know what I'm saying? Changing lives for the better, changing minds for the better. Everything started moving in harmony, bro, you know. And thank Brother Keys for being on the Man
appreciate you having me on, man.
I need everybody to tell Ampu to get his ass back to LA so we can shoot the next episode. But you know,
if
brother,
not, I'll be here.
But brother Ampu, you know what I'm saying, he doing his music, he got his merch, he had, you know, obligations to take because I know y'all gonna ask where Ampu at. That's our brother, he always with the camp, no matter what. We connected around the world, you know what I'm saying? But go on this page, you know what I'm saying, still tap in with brother. Me and Ampu will be going live. If y'all don't see him on the show and y'all see Mr. Keys, me and Ampu will still be going live, having man-to-man conversations. So tap in. Oh, you want last thing? Tell them about the top crowns.
It look good on me, it's gonna look good on you. Get your top crown from a top god.
Tell them about the gold water.
I don't just wear gold, I sip gold. Tap in.
Tell them about the pure moss.
We don't want none of that watered down, fake conscious crispus sea moss that you get from the corner store. Come tap in with the God and restore the mineralization in your body. Cause that's what I put in me to stay godly and stay glowing. Stay godly and stay fine. Get on that pure moss.
Last but not least, tell them about the silver bullet.
Listen, there's way too many handshakes with fake scums, dirty germs, and viruses. And a lot of you all just learned how to wash your hands during the pandemic. As I travel, I make sure that I spray this in my nose, spray this in my mouth to make sure that there's no germs that can enter my system.
Well,
that colloidal silver is very powerful and you need it every day in this toxic world. Keep the toxicity away with the silver spray. Tap in. Welcome to the Man to Man podcast where we talk like God. Man to Man. Peace, family. If you're enjoying the content on this channel, I'm talking about most invaluable, you understand me, top thought leader, intellectual, high frequency vibrations, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so we can increase that algorithm, grow this 19 media, you understand me, and you can continue to tap in and get the value that you deserve. Tap in.